This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet full of all the stuff that I love. And today we look at the fourth film in this After Dark Neo-Noir Cinema Collection Volume 2 from Imprint. We've done episodes on all the films in Volume 1. You can see that behind me there. And we've done episodes on the first 3 films in this box set. Today's film is actually the directorial debut of a director who went on to write and direct one of the most successful film series in history, including an installment that is currently in theaters. Let's check it out. Today's film is The Way of the Gun from the year 2000. It's 2 hours long, in color. This is about a pair of criminal drifters in the Arizona desert who decide to kidnap and hold for ransom a surrogate mother who's carrying a baby for a very rich couple. They figure, let's kidnap her. The rich couple really wants this kid. We'll hold her for ransom and we'll cash in. But of course, things don't always go as planned. The 2 drifters in this film are played by Ryan Felipe. I'm not sure if that's how you say his name or not. And Benecio del Toro. Now, Ryan Felipe, for him, this was kind of a change of pace. He had just done the films I Know What You Did Last Summer and Cruel Intentions, where he played kind of a romantic lead. He is not that in this film, so I'm thinking maybe he wanted to do something a little bit different. Benicio del Toro, his partner in this, this is the same year that he made Snatch and Traffic, 2 films which were much more successful than this film. He also won in 1995 a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for The Usual Suspects. More about that in a little bit later. I really like Benicio del Toro. I don't think this is the best thing he's done. He's always fun to watch, but I've seen him in other films like Sicario, where he just was better, I think. Juliette Lewis plays the surrogate mother. I always love to see her pop up in films. I think she's such an interesting actress. I was watching the series Yellow Jackets for a while. I kind of gave up on it during season 2, but I think she and Christina Ricci were the standouts in that show. And this film, I don't think it really plays to her strengths. She doesn't have that kind of edginess, but I think it's really part of her character, or that weirdness that she usually brings to her characters. And a few years before this, she was in Natural Born Killers and Cape Fear, 2 films that are better than this one. Also showing up in here, and he's been showing up a lot in these films I've been talking about lately, is James Caan. This is in the middle of his filmography, right in the middle of a bunch of films I had never heard of before. So he must have been cranking out a lot of films, but nothing I really recognize. More about James Caan a little bit later. And then there's a really good cast of character actors throughout that you'll recognize that all do a really good job in here. The director was Christopher McQuarrie. He won an Oscar for Best Screenplay for The Usual Suspects in 1995. This is his first film that he's directed. He also wrote this one. He wouldn't direct again until 2012, so there's a 12-year gap, maybe because this film wasn't that successful at the box office. But in 2012, he directed Jack Reacher, the Tom Cruise film, and then started having quite a working relationship with Tom Cruise with Valkyrie and Edge of Tomorrow, which I think he wrote, which is pretty good. And he went on to write and direct 3 of the Mission Impossible films starring Tom Cruise, including the one that's currently in theaters. Now, there are several noir elements in this film, and I really don't like to feel like I'm doing a checklist of noir characteristics, but it is part of a neo-noir box, so I think it's fair to look to see if it has some of those characteristics. There is a voiceover by the Ryan Felipe character, but it's only at the very beginning and at the very end, sort of bookcasing the film. Every character in here has an angle. They are ready to double-cross each other. The 2 stars, the 2 drifters, not so much so, but everybody else has got some other agenda, some other ulterior motive. A lot of the characters have secrets of their own. Some of those secrets are surprising. A couple of major ones are pretty obvious. They make it pretty obvious, actually. There are 2 the two main characters of the drifters, these criminal guys, are total outcasts from society. He even says, Felipe says at the beginning in the voiceover, that they are outcasts, that they do not belong to society. They do things their own way. They don't really have a plan or anything. There is a cat and mouse between our two drifters who kidnapped the girl and everybody else working for the billionaire who's trying to get the girl back. This billionaire, by the way, is ultra rich, very shady. We find that out right away because once the girl is kidnapped, he says no police, and his lawyer says no police, because they're going to wonder where he got the money from, and it turns out he's been laundering money. So a good, evil billionaire, crooked billionaire type character you see in some neo-noirs like Chinatown, for example. His wife is comes off as kind of a femme fatale. There's something going on with her, but it doesn't really carry through. It's kind of that whole idea is sort of dropped by the end of the film. Now, I mentioned James Caan is in this. As usual, he's just a standout in here. He's the kind of the fixer slash bag man for this billionaire who's been with him for decades. And he's an older guy, older than all the other characters in the film, really, except for the billionaire. James Caan has the best lines of dialogue on here. Very interesting, kind of florid vocabulary, poetic, that he uses, which is really fun to listen to. And he's scary, but in a understated, like authoritative type way. He says at one point, "Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I'm an old guy, but that means I'm a survivor." So my rating for The Way of the Gun, I'm going to give this one 3.5 babies out of 5. It's a fun ride. The characters are interesting. There are a couple of surprises along the way, like I said. It's a bit too long at 2 hours. The last sequence is kind of a long shootout. Turns into a Western in many ways. It kind of reminded me of The Wild Bunch, that last sequence. And one thing that kind of struck me was our two drifters who kind of portray themselves as losers, that almost petty thieves that just kind of they sell their blood to make money. All of a sudden at the end of the shootout, they're like sharpshooters. They have bulletproof vests and stuff. I don't know where they got this stuff, unless I missed it or something. Some people criticized this film when it came out as being sort of a Quentin Tarantino ripoff because Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction had already been made. It didn't really occur to me while I was watching it, but later on I read some people thought of it that way. I will warn you, there's the use of the F word in regards to gay men, several times used in the first 10-15 minutes of this. I guess it's supposed to be funny or something, but you hear it now, it just seems like it would be very offensive to certain people. And one person who yells it a lot at the beginning outside this club is, interestingly, Sarah Silverman, the comedian. I was kind of surprised to see her there. So what's on this disc? Well, of course, it's an imprint disc. It's part of that box set. There are 2 audio commentaries, which I did not listen to. Then there's a handful of interviews with the main actors. But these interviews run like maybe 1 to 1.5 minutes long. And the video quality and the audio quality is really poor on those interviews. And in that short of space, there's really nothing that can talk about that's interesting. So I thought, aside from the commentaries, if you're into that kind of thing, the extras are nothing special, really. Picture quality is excellent, though. Where can you see The Way of the Gun? If you have Amazon Prime, it is part of Freevee, so you can access the film there. You can rent it. You can buy it. Probably not this particular edition, but other editions are available. So feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. I do have a list, because we're getting quite a few. I would like to thank the following people who left comments on various episodes since I recorded our last episode. They include, I'll go as fast as I can, Lucky Dude, Sam, Sid, Tina, Michael, 20th and 21st Movies, and I think it's Breda Do United FC. Thank you for taking the time to comment. Really appreciate it. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. I'd like to welcome our newest subscribers since our last episode, Kevin, Ray, Jane, Andy, and the Blu-ray Hunter. Thank you so much for subscribing. Subscribing is free. We're like 4 away, I think, since I last looked, from our next goal of 550 subscribers. Thank you all so much. Spread the word. It's free to subscribe. Also free is Letterboxd. Follow us on there under the Kazdoy Closet. There's a link down below in the notes. That's where we leave brief written reviews of other things we're watching. And we have a new follower, and that is Kevin. Thank you for joining us, following us on Letterboxd. Otherwise, hope you like this episode. Thanks for watching. See you next time.